Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Board to order, Monday, August 6th. And the first item on the agenda tonight is the Oshkosh Civility Project is once again hosting August as Civility Month in Oshkosh. So I just wanted to remind you all what that's all about. I'm sure you've seen these posters around town and around. We have one over by the door, as a matter of fact. So we have them a lot of schools, the university, municipal buildings. And the Civility Project was something that was conceptualized about, I guess it's been 8 years ago now in the city of Oshkosh. And basically we just ask people to be nice. Be nice to each other. What a concept, huh? The little card that I gave you, sometimes we suggest using these as like a soccer yellow card, So if somebody's saying gossiping, you can go, oh, look at number 4 and give your card away. But we ask people to pay attention, listen, be inclusive, not gossip, show respect, be agreeable, apologize, give constructive criticism, take responsibility. And that's the 9 you see on the posters and the card. But if you want to go further, in this little book, there's 25 rules of civility. And if you want to go further yet, this month on Facebook, because there's 31 days in August, and every day there's a reminder, you can have 31 tenets. So you would find that by going to Oshkosh Civility Project on Facebook. So we're a very civil group here, but I do think that it is important to remind everyone once a year that it is a good thing to respect other people's opinions and listen to their thoughts. And we don't have to agree with everybody, but we should be agreeable when we're disagreeing. So, okay, moving on. Do we have any public comment today?
It's more like a question. So as we were talking before we were live,
Alisha, I need you to tell us who you are, please.
I'm sorry. I'm Alisha Ellsberg.
Thank you.
And I'm helping Traeger go through the Green and Healthy School program. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we're going to battle is the plastic silverware that the elementary school is required to use. So at the end of the school year, we had about 6 kids submit letters. Like they wrote a report basically about why they don't want the plastic silverware. Basically, you get it in a packaging, you get a straw, you get a napkin, and you get a spork. Whether you need that straw or not, you're getting it. So I was curious if there's any support that we could get from everybody in this room to kind of help back us up with the food service, because I know it's not just Traeger having the plastic silverware. I'm sure it's at other schools. And part why their reasoning why they removed the real silverware was because a few of the kids were throwing them away.
So it's a school district rule, not like a
the whole food service.
higher up.
I thought once you get into middle school, I thought you get the real silverware, but I saw once that they just had it, where you can just pick out what you need. It's not in the pre-wrapped stuff. So I don't know exactly what levels of the school, if it's just elementary, middle, or high school, or, I'm not 100% sure who all gets it. I only have elementary kids, so that's...
I'm really glad you brought this to our attention. When I was at Traeger School, and I was there for like 10 or 12 years or something, I lose track, we always had real silverware. And when it became an issue, we just stationed somebody by there to remind the kids to put the silverware in the wash tray, not in the garbage.
Yeah.
So that's quite terrible. There's a number of restaurants in the Oshkosh area that have gone away from using straws. Mm-hmm. And I've been pretty vocal about that when I go out and ask them, please don't give me a straw. And then I go, why'd you give me a straw? I said, don't give me a straw. Well, there's several now that are not using straws at all unless you ask for them. So right. That's progress. There's also something called paper straws, which at least I'm guessing, are these paper straws or plastic straws?
They're plastic straws.
So they are plastic,
yeah.
Which compounds the problem, of course. Yes, I think we definitely can do something about that. As far as just talking to the district and seeing, do you know who's in charge of the school lunch program at this point?
I know her first name is Michelle. I don't know what her last name is. I can definitely find out, and I can get that for you.
If you could give me that contact information, that would
definitely.
be fine. Would anybody have any objections if I just go ahead and,
I believe
and
it's district-wide.
work on this?
What, do they have paper plates?
I think
Or
it's-
They have trays? that
They
are washable?
have trays that are washable.
Uh-huh.
So all the food comes from West, and then it's served on the trays that then go back and get washed.
Okay, and they go someplace to get washed, they don't wash them at the school, or?
Right, I
Okay,
believe
there
they
must be a
leave
place
with.
with a dishwasher.
Right, but they're also training the kids right now with recycling their milk cartons. So they're also doing that right now, where it's like, well, if you're doing that, then you can also imply better the
only thing
real silverware.
They should be throwing away would be their food scraps or something.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
I mean, it's not like they're dumping a tray and a,
Right, yeah,
know,
yeah, there's, yeah, no, it's, they'll empty their whole tray of stuff into the garbage, regardless of if
oh,
it's
okay.
untouched or,
Okay, but they're supposed to be removing the milk carton, the tray obviously doesn't go in
Right,
the garbage.
right.
And if they had regular stainless
Right.
steel, that would not go into the garbage.
right, they pull their straw out, they dump their milk in, and then they put their milk carton in the recycling bin, and then
Uh-huh.
they empty their tray into the
Oh.
trash.
Okay, so if you just had a station where the silverware
Right,
went.
right there. Yep,
Okay, well,
okay, yeah, I'll get you their,
in addition to the school district, I wonder who else is using packages or non-silverware or, I mean, like I said, so many of the restaurants have gotten really good about switching over to not doing straws unless they're asked for, including some bars. Well, I don't know all the bars, but I've heard, but, so,
What does the university do in that?
So even the university could probably use some help on that because they use reusables for Black Hawk Commons. All the organics, everything from there is basically put into a grinder and goes to the biodigester.
Uh-huh.
However, all the stuff in like Reunion or the cafes and things like that, you know, I'm sure it used plastic straws and single-use plastics.
Uh-huh.
So I think, you know, last time I checked, but I think that would be, yeah, definitely a good thing.
well, maybe this is an issue
into
then
it.
that we should look at citywide and see what's going on.
Yeah,
Something else to put on our wish list.
right?
But the school
Awesome.
system already has
Okay.
dishwashers in place and they're already transporting stuff to be washed.
right,
Yeah.
Does.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
Right.
they
Okay.
need
It
to
all
invest
goes
in a machine
through
or figure a
West.
way of getting it back.
right, right.
Yeah, I know that when we've tried to divert things to digester before, some people have complained because it's like, well, they have styrofoam trays because they don't have access to a dishwasher, they don't have money for a dishwasher, but if that's not even an issue, then I think this would be easy.
Yeah, no, the only time I've seen the styrofoam trays come out is when they ran out of the plastic trays, like
Okay.
on pizza day or something like that, they actually will run out,
Okay.
so. then
Okay,
they
well,
pull in.
thank you for bringing this to our attention. We really shouldn't be discussing it since it's not an agenda item, but we'll make it an agenda item for another meeting. And if you could get me some,
Yeah.
maybe we can do some investigative work between now and then, too.
Sure, definitely.
Great, thank you. Anything else on your comment list?
It was actually my team member that I work with at Traeger. She was interested in understanding with the idling, with like the cars and all that, if there was ever anything about the bridges, like any review about.
And
you
that
know-
we'll be discussing later on in the meeting
Okay,
because
is
that
there
is on
something
our
with
agenda.
the bridges too, with
Well, the
making
whole-
the boats wait instead of making the cars wait? I don't know, you know, it's like, I didn't know if there was ever any conversation that was like a resource that I could just read up on.
I wouldn't know where to direct you exactly for
Okay.
that, but yes, that's something that has been discussed several times throughout the years.
Okay,
And what did you
I
have?
live on the river and on Saturdays and Sundays, they do make the boats wait.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll get 3 or 4 of the boats that they have to leave the bridge for.
Oh, okay,
Then they let them through.
okay.
So sometimes there's quite a queue going down the river.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Let me make a note of that, bridges. Okay, moving on. I'm sure everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from our July 2nd meeting. Were there any changes, additions, or would someone like to make a motion?
Move approval. Seconded.
Okay, it has been moved to approve, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thanks. Okay, UW Oshkosh Environmental Studies projects. This one is the upcoming schedule now. This is always on the agenda, it feels like, but it's because it's always either spring or fall, right? So we're moving on, and Stephen's going to bring us up to date on what we're looking at for, well, what the discussion has been so far, I guess, would be more appropriate.
Yeah, so many of you know Professor Jim Feldman from the university. He will again be working with us this fall. So what Margie and I did was a couple of weeks ago, I think it was like July 17th, we actually met Professor Feldman here at City Hall. And we kind of discussed, where we want to go, what route we want to go with the students this fall. And I think we're going to continue with the green infrastructure audit that we were working on. We're not just going to look at parking, but we're going to look at having the students potentially get into our ordinances and start to look at where we're deficient, where maybe we can improve with green infrastructure. We didn't quite get that far with the last group, so we're hoping we can springboard off of what they've done and then push it a little further with this fall semester. And then I'm going to be meeting with the professor on Thursday this week to further discuss this with him. So that's kind of where we are right now. And at some point in September, I'm sure we'll meet with the students. Margie and I usually do. We usually bring them in here and we kind of give them their charge for the semester and their assignment.
And they ask questions if they need to, or whatever. At least that way they know who to come to when they do have questions, too.
Mm-hmm.
We did give Professor Feldman some materials to work with,
Yes.
too. We gave him the,
Gave them the audit tool.
Thank you.
Which is like the whole book explaining what the audit is, and then the actual forms and worksheets that you can fill out. We gave him a copy of the comp plan, I believe, and the Imagine Oshkosh plan. So he has that too.
just to give him a little background before he meets with us and meets with the students. So, yeah, that went very well. And then Stephen and I met last week
Yep.
on the Environmental Leadership Award.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to fill us in on that?
Sure. So it's taken quite a while, but what we did was we've been working on refining the draft. I actually sent it to the city manager, and he was going to include it in a weekly council packet. So I believe he did do that, and he sought some input from the common council members, and he did not receive any as of a few weeks later. I think he left it, and we let it sit for a few weeks to a month. He didn't receive any feedback, so he gave me the green light to go ahead and proceed with it. So what he was thinking and what I was thinking was this Environmental Leadership Award would be kind of like our Landmarks Commission's Acanthus Awards. So it'd be something where, we'd use the process that we've kind of set up for ourselves here, but they would come to a common council meeting. It could be, for this one, it could be pretty brief. We might have a handful of, maybe just one or two or a handful of awardees, and we would present the awards at a common council meeting. He was recommending that we have you, Jake, as council liaison, perhaps make an announcement about this at an
Sure.
upcoming council meeting.
Yeah, I can do it at the end of the meeting one night, yeah.
Sure, that'd be great, and I can get you some more information on it
Sure.
too. in case
Which
you're
would
not
be
familiar.
helpful.
Yeah, whatever you want to pass along.
Sure. But that's where we are on that.
And we also did adjust the timeline
Yeah.
that we'd originally scoped out because it had us awarding it now, whereas we haven't even gotten the word out yet.
Yeah.
So Stephen and I went through that, and now we have it, so we would be awarding it in February, as I
believe so,
Call.
2019. So we'd start
Yeah.
in 2019 actually awarding these.
So that'll give us plenty of time to let the public know about it and the people who might want to apply. Okay, Terrace Tree proposal, very brief update.
Yeah, this one, so I had sent this, Bill Sturm and I had worked on a draft of a proposal for Terrace Trees. I think we all here reviewed it some months back, it might have been in May. I took it then and I sent it to Alan Davis, our Community Development Director, so my department head. And I got his input. He wanted me and Bill Sturm to go a little bit deeper into the analysis and fiscal impact of this program. So I need to do that, and I'm working with Bill Sturm, City Forester, on that. Once we do that, we'll send the memo back to Alan, and then he can give us a green light to proceed with that. we can then take it to common council or whatever other bodies we need to take it to.
So the good news is,
Specify what he was looking for?
He wants to know more about the kind of the impact that this is gonna have on budget, you know, that type of thing. So Bill would be able to help me with that. The analysis, that's just going a little bit more in depth in terms of what it actually is. I think he wanted to know kind of more of the logistics of the program. Right now, it was pretty much just a proposal to come up with a proposal. So he wants us to kind of flesh it out more. Like, what is the actual substance of this? Which is reasonable, I think.
How many and how much?
Yep. Which will be nice. It's more work on the front end, but the more we do now, the less
Sure.
we have to less questions we should have going forward, so.
projections, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Okay, farmer's market update. I know we have another one coming up. Do you want to tell us how the last one went, Robert?
Good.
Okay, that covers it.
We still really could come up with a more concise, we have a very small presence there, and the attention-getting device really works good, but maybe more of a sign for the front of the table, something that kind of gives somebody a larger sense of, because people say, well, what do you do? And it's really hard to come up with a 20-second explanation of what the Sustainability Advisory Board does.
Okay, so you
That's
need
about
an
the
elevator
pretensions.
talk.
Yeah, basically, it's an elevator pitch.
Okay.
And I've been trying to work through, and, you know, having done this now for a couple of years, I'm kind of getting better at it, but I still don't remember all the points and the key points. And that's where I suggested maybe we could come up with a short thing that if somebody is interested in doing sustainability things for their house or whatever, that we could give them a very, here's a place to start thing. So it's going well. It's just,
And you have people stopping by and
oh
looking
gosh,
at,
yes.
they
Oh,
want to
yes.
see what that world peace is
Yes,
about.
that hooks them in.
It's good, it's good.
A thought I had, like the public health people were next with their campaign about the tobacco and stuff, but they had some kind of interactive stuff, like there was a survey, and they had, I never figured out what it was for, but they had like a wheel that spun around that you could, you know, and they.
I think you win a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if there's something, you know, you could come up with, maybe not for the next farmer's market, but sometime down the road where there was something that was kind of interactive with people coming by. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there was something for them to do or try or, you know, something.
Yeah.
We
No.
had the light switch plate design things so that kids could come up and design like a light switch plate cover.
And those are still in the box.
Yeah, but
Sticker
the
where they
table is
could-
full. I mean, that's the.
So
real
we
problem.
need more table space.
That would maybe be a good start, yeah.
Okay, because we have 10 feet of space and we only have a 6-foot table in
Yeah,
there, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Or do we need something more like a takeaway, like an action for them to do because they came to the table and something that they
Sure,
should
that's
what I
work
was
on is
thinking.
that,
So we walked them in,
yeah.
and now you got to give them something to walk away with that they want to maybe do a rain barrel or maybe do a rain garden or plant something. It's something to motivate them to take
You know,
action.
you could have some kind of little quiz that was a, you know, a trivia contest or something, thinking about the impact of different things, or I think the people with the cigarette, you know, no smoking in the parks campaign, didn't they have a jar of cigarette butts and they asked you to
Yeah.
guess how many were in there or something?
Yeah, I worked with the health department with that
With that
initiative
display.
to get
Oh,
the smoke-free
okay.
parks, and
So,
they
you
have
know,
bottles of them. So if we could have something interactive,
Yeah, so
let
some
the
kind of,
down
you know, and then
About
from that, then they could
straws?
be interested, oh, maybe. yeah.
Asking for no
Yeah.
straws at
Well,
restaurants.
You have a couple different campaigns. You have the idling campaign. You could have some kind of trivia
Yeah.
questions about that, or the straws, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Straws
the
you think-
straw idea
Yes,
because
the
that ties everything in.
You
We
know,
could
or-
have a big jar and have a restaurant give us all the straws they picked up one day or something like that.
Right, but
That'd be a
you
good one.
you give it some
Visual.
thought, but some kind
Yeah,
of
it's a
trivia
very visual.
contest or guessing contest, and
Yeah.
then, you know.
Fox River Brewery might be a good one because they always drain all their stuff into that one big bucket and all their straws are sitting in there that they do hand out.
Well, every bar does that.
Oh, but, you know, something that would get them interested and maybe understand why there's concerns about some of these
The
things.
straws would be a really good
I like
visual,
that
because they're
one.
so common, yeah.
That could be
Yes.
something that could change from
Well,
summer
and
to
it may
summer or
help
something.
change behavior when people then would go, oh my God, remember all those straws that are going to the landfill
Yeah.
every day?
Right.
If I remember to ask them not to give me one, I can help that problem.
Yeah, there you go.
So-
That-
And ask
that
them how
I
long
had-
it takes to disappear.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
that could be
That's
part of
part
your
of
that could be
trivia.
part of the
Yeah.
trivia, yeah. Okay, we have a plan, we just have to
We have
execute.
an
Let's
idea.
not,
I can do that.
with this, but let's
Bye,
not forget your 20 minutes, 20-second speech or the rest of
The
it.
Yeah.
elevator talk, yeah, got that, yeah.
And what you give them to take away.
Yeah.
If you're interested in this, that, or, then you can go here or there or the other place.
Now, are
Well,
these-
we have
these
a
different
card.
programs are on the website of the city, right?
Right, we have a card with the website, don't we? Where they can
Yeah.
take it away, something, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, where it says like,
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
a
so
like a
because
business
we have the
card thing,
brochures
yeah.
for the different things, but if people don't want to take all that paper and they just want something, well, here's where I can go for information on.
Right.
yeah,
But
that
that's-
card, because we have
We
so
could-
many flyers already of different things that people
Yeah,
can do, I feel like.
true. Just one regular little card that says, find us on Facebook at, except wait, we're not on Facebook. Find us on the city
Online.
website at,
On this clunky website.
be like that.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, I'm willing to,
Website.
to create something
It's
like
getting
that.
redesigned. You'll
Is
see
it
it
next
inside
week
next
that we're at the farmer's market again?
Saturday.
Yes, I better
Maybe.
get on that. Okay, so I'm putting down a little card. And then Vic, who is our education specialist here.
Yes.
I
got the
thought I heard you
straw.
volunteer to do,
Sure did. I will have a jar of straws.
You will.
all right,
Bill,
great.
promise.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Just an idea on that. What you could do is you could maybe like talk to a McDonald's and see how many cups they go through a day.
Yeah.
And a cup would equal a straw, and have like a clear garbage bag, and say there's this many restaurants in town. Every day we consume.
When you could have people
600
guess
garbage
how many,
bags.
we can have people guess how many are in the
Are,
garbage bag.
are used, yeah.
Right, yeah, how many straws are in this garbage
Because
bag?
it'll fill up a landfill. I
Maybe
mean,
we'll do a jar. That's
Or a
cute.
jar.
I think the
Yeah.
easier is
Something
the
that
straw.
kind of,
Like a
something,
mason jar.
yeah, something that's not gonna leak. Right, that would be
Yeah.
good.
I'll take care of it. Don't worry about
Okay, I have faith. Thank you so much, Vic.
it. Not a problem.
Okay, brilliant ideas on the farmer's market. See what we can do when we all work together? Okay, let's move on. If everyone's okay with that, are we done with farmer market? Okay. Next up on the agenda would be the vehicle idling proposal, Vic.
Yeah, so we got everything approved, and then there's even a cover letter from Mark Roloff, and so that was forwarded on to my contact with the Oshkosh Area School District. It was sent Friday afternoon, so he hasn't quite responded yet, which can't blame him. But yeah, so that has been sent. So if anyone doesn't remember, I typed up a pretty little letter about vehicle idling in school zones. So that'll be sent out to all parents in their welcome packet this year.
Good.
To the school district. And at the bottom, just to go back to your public comment, it does, one of the what you can do's is to reduce your idling during times of non-moving traffic, such as trains, open bridges, etc. And I would just refer people to the plan that the students came up with, which is in the cover letter, to just reference, see if there's anything about vehicle idling that they need to know.
do you know if any other school districts do anything like this? In other schools?
Sure. So what I used for my letter personally were 2 universities that had done programs in their local communities, which unfortunately were not local to us. And then the students used some other municipalities in their report as well. But I don't know of any surrounding Oshkosh. No. So this
We could
is
be a
stepping stone
trendsetter.
1. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the goal.
You can finally be first.
Right.
So when you
Something
share it with the
exciting.
council, be sure and say trend setting.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that.
Progressive.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's been sent out. Just haven't gotten the response yet. But
Thank you, Vic. Thank you
No
for
problem.
staying on that and getting that done. We really appreciate it.
yeah, of course.
Okay, moving on. Menominee Shoreland Restoration. Michelle, how's that going?
It's going well. It's been hard a little bit. The pump house site has had a lot of Queen Anne's lace that came in because last year the site had accidentally been mowed by the city a few times and was also kind of covered by people, blankets and chairs and things during the 4th of July. So the site was very interrupted last year. So I think we're seeing more weeds and things in there this year just from that. There's some things that just didn't come back There's other things that are doing really well, and so it's really exciting, but we're going to have to look at that for next year, possibly introduce something that likes to also populate that's native and infiltrate there a little bit. But we had 3 Wednesdays in a row in July, August, where we were taking that Queen Anne's lace out. There's still a small patch of it in the middle, but that's the area where we kind of want to replace that because it's almost all invasive weeds right in the middle there. So yeah, we're still working on that, but hopefully we can really try to get it out. Everything else there looks good. We saw 6 different species of butterflies. Thank you to Anita Carpenter for recognizing that and being able to name the species. I wish I would have brought the list with me, but I did not. I have pictures. I am not great at remembering, and butterflies are so quick. You don't even realize, but by the time you try to take a picture, they're all over the place and gone. So I have some pictures of monarchs that we've seen at the Miller's Bay site this year, but I have some progress pictures of the pump house site. So it's all very exciting, and it's on our Facebook site. So come and join the Friends of Menominee Park Shoreland Facebook site, and you can see some of those pictures. And we also have been doing lots of work out at the Miller's Bay site. Now the whole site has been trimmed at least once over the summer here. So hopefully that will help inhibit the tall species that like to kind of take over a little bit, and also keep things a little bit shorter for the duration of the season. We're also going to be working a little bit more on the trail and invasive species management and things like that this month. I have our other days. Let me pull them up on my calendar where we're going to be going out there. So please feel free to join us. I know some people might not feel comfortable, not know what to bring if you haven't come before, but honestly, if you wear closed-toed shoes, I'd wear jeans or other pants. Bring gloves if you have them. Otherwise, I bought lots of spare gloves of all sizes. So if you want to just bring yourself, that's wonderful. I love teaching people about what we're doing and have new people start helping out, and it feels really good. It's nice to be out there. There's always lots of camaraderie. So we love to see new faces. Our next work day is next Wednesday, so that would be August 15th. And again, that's at the pump house site. So that would be trying to finish up the Queen Anne's lace management there and pulling those weeds. That's going to be from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm usually there a little bit early, around 2, so if you want to join me early, please feel free. And of course, all of these dates are subject to weather. They might cancel, but again, I try to put those out on Facebook so that you can see the status of those. Also, we have another one on Saturday, August 25th, and that is from 9 to noon. At the Miller's Bay site, and that's where we'll be doing trail management and different things like that, and we would love to see you out there. That's the rest of our August dates. We also have some into September, and since our September meeting I don't believe is going to be
It
filmed,
interferes with
correct?
Labor Day, so no, we won't be on the air.
Right. So the next time we're going to be going through that, pardon my scrolling through my phone here, is Wednesday, September 12th. And then we're going to have another one. Well, maybe we just are going to do the one in September. In any case, trying to plan a month out is kind of hard for a plant site depending on weather and everything else. So like I said, join us on or like us on Facebook, and you'll be able to see those events coming out there.
Super. I have one question.
Sure.
Was the pump house area blocked off at all during sawdust days, or did it kind of take a hit with people thinking that was just another path?
This year?
Yeah.
This year, we did have a barrier. Thankfully, we had an awesome volunteer who early in the season, I believe it was in April even, went out there and put up a nice border that I think stands out a little bit more this year because instead of hemp, she used an actual line, kind of like a paracord kind of through the wood stakes that we have there. So it's a little bit more noticeable. So we haven't had any issues with that being mowed accidentally this year, thankfully. And nobody went in there and was stomping around or anything. It looks
Excellent.
pretty good. So we're happy with that.
Plants like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And good work, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, Stephen, tell us all about the Sustainable Communities Network that you're going to be hosting this next month.
Yes, so
Woohoo.
that is, like Margie said, that we will be hosting that here at City Hall, I believe. I scheduled it for this room, but I have to see because I know we're gonna be having elevator maintenance in the building, and that may shift some of our meetings, so I'll keep everybody posted on that. But the SCN, Sustainable Communities Network, is really, it's headed up by East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and there's a number of municipalities. I know there's a number of other organizations like Evergreen Credit Union, a lot of people and organizations, municipalities from the Fox Valley. And so Oshkosh is part of that, and they like to share ideas, and they like to meet, I think, quarterly at this point. So they asked us to host a meeting and kind of give an update as far as what we're working on. I think we're going to focus on that green infrastructure audit. I'm going to mention the sustainability plan update that we're working on too. But I think we'll place a lot of emphasis on those two things as far as right now. And we're looking forward to hosting that. So hopefully all of you can make it, or some of you.
From when to when?
It will be, I can't remember, it's like 3 p.m.
I think it starts at 3.
I think it usually starts at 3.
How long does it last?
And usually they go like hour and a half or 2 hours, something like that.
Okay.
There are several municipalities that participate, but
Yeah.
not everybody makes it every time.
Yeah.
So it kind of just depends on who's available. At the last meeting, we'd had Amanda Struck come and talk to us about her time in Germany with the renewables. So sometimes there's a real serious program like that, and then sometimes it's just a sharing group which Stephen will be sharing for the city of Oshkosh. So, and of course, everybody will learn lots from that, including us beforehand, right?
Yep, hopefully. Let's see.
Okay, so, and then, do you want to maybe send out a notice of observation or something on that?
Yes,
So that we'll,
I'll definitely do that because it is a meeting where a number of you will be there potentially. So we are required to do that, so.
but that'll be another way to remind you of it coming up, so, and it's just a couple of days after Labor Day, so we might all be thinking other things by then, who knows? Okay, does anybody have any new agenda items for upcoming meetings?
I think your report on the straws.
Yes, we'll be talking about straws, et cetera. Straws, plastic dinnerware, anything else
That's
like
right.
that. Yes.
Single-use plastics,
Yes.
especially in terms of eating.
So we have that to add. Anybody have anything else?
For our formal meeting in October, I think that is tentatively scheduled for us to bring the attorneys in. They're gonna give us that presentation on Robert's rules, procedures, just things we need to keep in mind and remember as a public board. So,
Right.
hoping to get them in here for October.
Okay. Okay, well then our next official meeting will be on Monday, October 1st, which is the first Monday in October, our regularly scheduled time. Since we can't do that in September because our regularly scheduled time falls on Labor Day, our meeting will not be televised. That doesn't mean that everyone isn't welcome. It's still an open meeting for anyone in the community who would like to attend, but we'll be just working on a workshop item, and we'll run it as a workshop that day. And you did get a doodle poll. You may not have found it yet. It just went out today. But the doodle poll is to decide on a date for that next meeting. And as I recall, I think Adam's up with the, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, for the workshop. Okay, is there anything else that anyone needs to share before we adjourn to workshop session? Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to workshop.
So move.
Thank you, Lurton. A second, please.
Second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's move on.